Hey everybody, J-Rad here. Well, today's the day to start building this telly. I decided to show you the process that I'm going to do to put this piece back on that the guy did not glue on correctly. There's a couple steps involved, but I also wanted to show my shop. I've kind of cleaned it up a little bit, made it a little neater. So yeah, here's a little overview. That's a very old workbench. This was here when we moved in. I had to fix it up a little bit. It's really warped. It's not in the greatest shape in the back here. The board's kind of bent down. I fixed it up the best I could. But yeah, I remounted my vise onto that because it used to be on this little old desk table when I used to have it at our old place, which is very shaky and terrible. So now this is solid. So that's much better. I do need a wood vise. Planning on getting one at some point. I think what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to make some little wooden pieces to go into the jaws, and that'll work. Got this little table over here for setups and final preparation. It's a nice little thing going on. You've seen the router table in previous videos. And then I got this beast. Ooh, a carpenter's table. I'm very excited about this. Yeah, that'll be another story in the future. Let's see how it works out. So, got myself all set up with some lighting, cameras. Yeah. Bunch of junk shelves, my toolbox. Majority of the tools in there are for motorcycle repair. I'm going to have to go through that. That's kind of something I'm getting out of. So, and as many of you might not know, I'm a handyman, so I have lots of paint, I have lots of supplies. These drawers here are all for supplies for that kind of stuff. It gets kind of messy as you go along. You don't need to see that. Alright, so I got this Tele Body here. As you seen in the previous video, this just knocked off. It had a big gap in it. It wasn't glued properly. It really wasn't straight anymore. I think the wood might have moved throughout time, and because it wasn't a good joint, it wasn't able to hold. So what I'm going to do is grab my pencil, which I'm not prepared. So what I'm going to do with this pencil is I'm going to line this up the best I can and make two marks. One there, and we'll say one here. What I'm going to do with my square is go down to roughly about halfway on the line. Halfway is right about 7/8. Make sure the square doesn't move. Keep it on your line. And do the same thing on this, using the top as my square. I want to just be able to see the line. My 7/8 mark. Boom. Same thing here. Now you might be asking, why am I doing this? Well, there's a reason. When I go to glue this on, it's going to want to move. So what I am doing is putting in a little dowel. So I'm going to install two little dowels into the body side, or this side, doesn't matter. I'll drill the holes out for the size of the dowel. So then when I clamp it, it's not going to move. It's going to stay where it needs to be. And that will secure my sanity for it not moving on me while I'm trying to clamp it. Right now, I'm marking out where my truss rod's going to go. I'm going to take the router, using a guide, I'm going to route this center channel out to the correct depth, and we'll have a channel for a truss rod. Well, unfortunately, my guy's hitting my table. So now I'm going to have to either get something under it, lift it up, or try to get it out here. Still wobbles a little bit. Hopefully not go anywhere. Hear the word hopefully. Well, that's definitely in there. Did a little blunder there. I'm not perfect, but it fits. Cool. Okay. It is the next day. Unfortunately, I had a lot of technical difficulties. I had a problem with audio. I had a problem with cameras turning off when they weren't supposed to. So a lot of the editing's not quite how I wanted it. I'm hoping the audio is okay now. My lav mic's really old and it gets a little crackly if it starts moving in the wrong direction. So let's hope. So here's the body after I glued it. One thing I do want to mention is I need a bandsaw. That is one of the next things I got to do before I really go any further with this project, because making this little fitting piece, I did it with a coping saw and it didn't really come out very well, and it was very exhausting. So if I had bandsaw, I could have made stuff to fit this perfectly. It would have been nice. And lastly, you saw me finish routing out the channel for the neck. I did do a little blunder right here. Not a big deal. It's just the channel for the truss rod. I don't think it's going to harm anything. It's down near the butt of the neck anyway. So that's that. So as I said, I'm not really going to continue on this project till I can get a bandsaw. Because cutting this out, I'm not going to do it by hand. It's just going to take too long and it's not going to be straight. So yeah. If you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. Like that little bell. You'll know when I'm putting new videos up. I think the next thing I'm going to work on is my Stratocaster rebuild. Putting new pickups on it, and I'm going to do a little fret level and new electronics. Should be a fun little project. Till I get my bandsaw, because I need that for this little guy. And yeah. Till then, everybody. J-Rad out.